We continue now to bring you updates from a different situation. We're bringing you updates from the continuing situation on the Gaza Strip, where the death toll has now crossed 13,000 people. Remember, big questions were raised on the IDF and their targeting of the al-Shifa hospital, the biggest hospital in the northern part of the Gaza Strip. Remember, the IDF had justified it by saying that this location was a location which Hamas was using as their command center. The IDF has now released a video in which they're arguing that this is now proven. They're saying it's documentation from the center on the day of October 7th, between the hours of 10:42 and 11, where you can see hostages be taken into the hospital, a Nepalese civilian and a Thai civilian being taken into the hospital. But it's important to point out that Hamas has argued here that these videos are just further proof that Hamas provided medical aid to those who had been abducted, and that Hamas took those who needed medical aid into the hospital for proof. So these are both sides of that argument. You can see the visuals on your screen right now. We're playing it out for you on the left side of your screen. Hamas putting out the justification here that these are just visuals of those who were injured being taken for medical help. Okay, we're moving on now. The next story we're bringing you is connected, because the big question has remained questions A, of a ceasefire in this situation, and B, the future of hostages. Israel says, remember, that Hamas has 200 plus hostages still within its control and with the civilians. The US and Qatar have given upbeat assessments on the possibility of the release of hostages. Remember, the countries have been involved in negotiations with both sides. The White House is saying negotiations have been ongoing around the clock, and there are still some areas of disagreement, but that those areas have been further narrowed. What are those areas and how have they been narrowed? What are the big questions and disagreements that remain? This is a report. CNN's Rick Dimagala. This is a look. Take a look, and thank you for watching.
Talks have intensified recently for the release of hostages being held by Hamas. The White House says officials have been working around the clock to secure their release.
What I can say about this at this time is we think that we are closer than we have been perhaps at any point since these negotiations began weeks ago.
Hamas abducted about 240 people, including some Americans, during the October 7 attacks, according to Israeli officials, though official accounts have varied as intelligence in Gaza develops.
I really believe that it's time for the Israeli government and the United States government to work out a fair deal to bring some of these hostages home.
Pressure is growing on Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to reach a deal for their safe return. Qatar has been acting as a mediator between Israel, Hamas, and the United States.
There are areas of difference and disagreement that have been narrowed, if not closed out entirely.
Family members have grown impatient as they worry about their loved ones being held.
For me, yeah, of course I'm frustrated. I want to see them home now.
And the war continues to rage in Gaza. On Saturday, a blast occurred at a United Nations-run school being used as a shelter in Gaza. It is unknown what caused the blast, and Israel says an investigation is underway.
We're also in touch with the Israelis to try to find out what they know about what happened. Is that if harm was done to innocent civilians sheltering at a UN site, that would be totally unacceptable.